I want to show you exactly the point that we've just learned now where he went in. Officials tell us he was down, taking a picture on those rocks below. There was ice there. He lost his footing and slipped into the river. But she said that the neighborhood here was then flooded with police. There is a state trooper here, and there is crime scene tape blocking this way. The district attorney's office tells us that this area should be opened up rather sooner than later, but their investigation does continue on a few points here we want to stress. And you can see it is now a virtual ghost town. There have been fatalities linked to this storm. Schools are closed for who knows how long, as well as businesses, because the roads are in such bad shape and the people responsible for treating them haven't seen a break since Monday. Lisa, we are standing on a bridge over a retreating 4-mile run, and we can tell you the physics of this ice jam. Essentially, the ice had nowhere to go. It jammed on this bridge, and then pieces were heaved out of 4-mile run, and it just swept through this neighborhood. You see the Valero gas station behind me, the woods here, totally surrounded with state police. Again, asking Charles Cottle to give himself up peacefully. When the horses were first rescued, they were in pretty bad shape. Ever since, they've been eating up a storm. Take Lakota here, for example. He was rescued at 798 pounds. He's supposed to be 1,100. That's where police are along Noreen Drive. We know crews responded to reports of a gas leak, and there is a heavy police presence there. Firefighters in Westmoreland County are remembering a brother who was killed on the job. A memorial for Jeffrey Lance Wenzel has been established outside the Youngwood Volunteer Fire Department. We've been following the mystery in Harrison Township since yesterday afternoon. Tonight, Angela Schlegel's daughters still have a lot of questions about how their mother died. Things changed, and in a big way, though, in the last 7 days, with the Panthers losing their third straight today. At Florida State, Jamie Dixon trying to lead Pitt to a better position in the tournament. Panthers down by 5 in the second half. Jamel Artis trying to keep Pitt in the game with the steal. He gets the lay-in, and it is a 3-point game.
Channel 11's Joe Holden is live, and Joe, this was a very emotional day in Jeanette.
Peggy, indeed, it was a day of raw emotion as hundreds of mourners paid their respects to the family of Ryan Mangan. Meanwhile, for county detectives, the work continues as they investigate the circumstances of Ryan Mangan's homicide. The casket carrying the body of 16-year-old Ryan Mangan leaves Sacred Heart Church, a damp, rainy, raw day in the city of Jeanette.
Ryan was so important to all of us. He was amazing. He was our best friend.
Inside, a packed house filled with family and friends, including Ryan's girlfriend, Brianna Kelly. She spoke with us about him after the funeral mass.
Funny and loving, and he had a big heart.
Shock over the 16-year-old's death leaves a community numb, but there are only more questions coming to the surface after police charged 16-year-old Maxwell Morton with his homicide. We're told the two were friends.
Why? Why would you want to do something like that? And why would you want to, brag about it? He bragged about it.
Police say Morton posed in front of Ryan's body after he had been shot once in the face. Arrest papers show Morton sent the selfie image to another friend, writing Ryan was not the last one.
I have no idea why anybody would want to do something like that and feel like it could be justified in any way. For him to be killed the way he was killed, there's no reason for that. And it's hard. It's very hard for all of us to even wrap our heads around.
Now, concerning that alleged statement on that selfie from the defendant Morton concerning Ryan Mangan not being the last one, the district attorney declined to elaborate, but he said that they were looking into that very carefully. As for Maxwell Morton, he is at the Westmoreland County Jail tonight. He is being charged as an adult in this case with an open count of homicide. That is the very latest outside the Westmoreland County Courthouse. I'm Joe Holden, Channel 11 News.
Break. That road is one big icy mess. Channel 11's Joe Holden is there. And Joe, you saw a driver who was actually trapped there?
Yeah, Lisa, and you took the words right out of my mouth. This is a mess. Here's some of the salt left behind. DPW crews just pounding this place, trying to get the ice out of here. The water was flowing this way from up the top of the street where it is now buckled straight down. We're at the summit of the hill here. You see the horses out. It is closed. And then straight down Rialto towards 28. That is where a driver got stuck attempting to make that hill. An icy, wintry mess on this steep hill that is Rialto Street. The car you see is jammed in ice and not going anywhere.
I'm not surprised at all, actually. Yeah, this hill's pretty bad in the winter. I'm surprised it's not closed down yet, especially with the weather how it's been.
Atop the hill, a 6-inch main broke, sending water cascading down Rialto. All that water quickly froze, trapping the car.
Just last week, I was trying to come down here when it was snowing, and I started to slide as well, but luckily I caught my traction.
Parts of the street buckled. Gushing water from the break washed away dirt under the road. PWSA estimates 10 customers have no water. Meanwhile, back on the hill.
I've never seen this, but it's a lot of slipping, a lot of sliding.
DPW crews slowly backed a truck down the steep grade, dumping a lot of salt. We're told the unlucky driver is from out of town. His GPS, police say, led him up this hill. Curious neighbors stopped by to check on him.
I don't envy him. He's got a 2-hour commitment on his hands trying to get up there.
And right now the salt did the trick. They certainly put down enough of it. Again, from PWSA, they tell us that 10 customers without water. They hope to have this street open by tomorrow, but they say you never know when you go ahead and start digging what you might uncover, though they are optimistic. That is the story live in Troy Hill tonight. Joe Holden, Channel 11 News.
Channel 11's Joe Holden was the only reporter there when the suspect faced a judge, and Joe also talked with the young victim. Joe?
Lisa, good evening to you. To give you some perspective, the number of people allegedly affected by this man, state police called them all together. They all filled an entire room at the magistrate's office. Now, as for that defendant, Matthew Goodwin, he decided today that he would not face his accusers.
Were you wearing that clown mask? Put a gun to that lady's head?
Matthew Goodwin, police say, is the man behind the mask. Accused in more than a few burglaries and a startling gunpoint robbery. Goodwin wasn't talking when we caught up with him.
How about the burglaries in Hempfield Township? Behind them too?
Sporting a scary clown mask, police say Goodwin earlier this month stormed into the Hempfield Township subway and pointed a gun at the store manager and 17-year-old Nicole White.
It scares me, but I'm over the fact because someone like that just needs to be put away and off the streets.
Only on 11, Nicole tells me the man in the mask robbed her of $2. She had been waiting to buy a drink when the robbery happened.
I just kind of gave him whatever to get just away from me.
Goodwin's court appearance was anticlimactic. He waived hearings on burglary and robbery charges to county court. We asked Nicole's mom about what her daughter went through. She choked up listening to her relive the robbery.
It's very scary, but she did good. I'm very proud of Nicole.
Now, if convicted, Matthew Goodwin could face a significant amount of time behind bars. His case now moves forward to county court. We are live tonight in Westmoreland County. Joe Holden, Channel 11 News.
And Joe, you talked to the victim who actually held the suspect until police came?
That's right, Peggy. His name is John Psycho, and he said he caught this burglar red-handed carrying rotors off his property, or at least he was trying to do that. Psycho says that he has sensors on his property, and that alerted him to the fact somebody was there.
And that's when I pulled my gun out of my pocket, took the safety off, and cranked her.
John Psycho recalls the moments he confronted a burglar. The Derry Township property owner said he's been hit by thieves many times before, but on this morning he was fed up.
I said, hey, what are you doing here?
We're told at first the suspected burglar, Kenneth Baker, cursed at him. John allowed us to see his 9mm handgun, and he showed Channel 11 exactly where he was standing when the confrontation began.
I stood right here using my loader as protection, not knowing if they have a gun. And I was like this, standing here, one arm.
And he had a change of heart.
Oh yeah, he was crying for his life.
Psycho told me that through tears, Kenneth Baker took responsibility for several burglaries at the shop.
And he told me he was here 5, 6 times, and sometimes with other guys.
We're told troopers arrived in about 4 minutes. As for John, the longtime owner of this and other properties in the area, he says he wouldn't change a thing about how he reacted.
I know I'm in sound mind that I was able to give him a second chance at life.
Now, John Psycho tells us that state troopers took his gun for a while to make sure it was properly registered, and then they returned it for him. As for the suspect, Kenneth Baker, he is not in jail tonight. We did stop by his home. A woman who came to the door said he would likely not be speaking to us, but considered this entire situation to be blown out of proportion. We're live tonight outside the State Police Barracks in Greensburg. Joe Holden, Channel 11 News.